First of all, I think I'll get right to it. I think Zayas is a live dog. You're gonna give me that much with an undefeated kid with a good amateur pedigree, with the you know with the heritage of the Puerto Rican blood and everything that represents in our sport of boxing, with all the champions that island has produced, and that just the connection of that heritage. I'm going to say, wow, you're going to really offer me that? I got to think about it. They're basing that on what Ennis is supposed to be. That's what that line's about. Because he hasn't really been tested yet. I mean, I know he's undefeated and he's a terrific fighter. Does everything right. You look at him, you say, well, I'm looking at a really good fighter. I mean, it's like going in a car lot and you say, that car that's a great, look at it. It shines. Look at the polish on it. That's Ennis.
I like Xander Zayas' boxing skills and boxing IQ, but I think Boots has a little bit more experience and has a little bit more of the intangibles, like the speed, the power. I think most of the other things lean toward Boots. Can he take Xander's punch? Because Xander's only been campaigning at junior middleweight. Boots' two world titles are at welterweight. So that's another thing that's going to factor in. I like both guys. I really do. And I think both guys are top-notch fighters.
Rise, and you start seeing a separation, but it ain't just, just normal separation where I just edged you out tonight. You see that this fighter was not ready. He's a year away, he's 2 years away, or maybe even more. This fight can be a fight that is taken too soon for Xander Zayas. Now, I'm going to say this. I agree with a lot of what you said in terms of what we see on paper. On paper, Jaron Boots Ennis, even though he's new to the weight class, you got to realize that Mackie Shieldstone taught me this when I fought Sergey Kovalev. I said, man, I'm going up in weight. Mackie said, you're not going up in weight. Do you see you're walking around weight? He said, you're just not coming down as low. I said, that's a good way to think about it. So Jaron Boots Ennis gets big in between fights. That's been well documented. So he's moving up a weight class, but really he's going to be stronger. He's going to have more stamina because he's not sucking himself down to get to the 147-pound division. So even though he's new to the weight class, this is a better Jaron Boots Ennis that we're going to get. On paper, Boots has the better IQ. He has better creativity in terms of his offense and the things you see him do. Boots can fight southpaw, left-handed, so you got to deal with that and get southpaw sparring if you're Xander Zayas. You got to deal with him being orthodox. You got to deal with power. You got to deal with speed. Boots can bang it out. Boots can box it out. Boots can do a lot of different things. He's got a deep bag in his fight game. Now, his fight game hasn't been challenged like we would like to see him challenged, but the challenges he has had, he's passed those tests with flying colors. Just normal separation where I just edged you out tonight. You see that this fighter was not ready. He's a year away. He's 2 years away, or maybe even more. This fight can be a fight that is taken too soon for Xander Zayas. Now, I'm going to say this. I agree with a lot of what you said in terms of what we see on paper. On paper, Jaron Boots Ennis, even though he's new to the weight class, you got to realize that Mackie Shieldstone taught me this when I fought Sergey Kovalev. I said, man, I'm going up in weight. Mackie said, you're not going up in weight. Do you see you're walking around weight? He said, you're just not coming down as low. I said, that's a good way to think about it. So Jaron Boots Ennis gets big in between fights. That's been well documented. So he's moving up a weight class, but really he's going to be stronger. He's going to have more stamina because he's not sucking himself down to get to the 147-pound division. So even though he's new to the weight class, this is a better Jaron Boots Ennis that we're going to get. On paper, Boots has the better IQ. He has better creativity in terms of his offense and the things you see him do. Boots can fight southpaw, left-handed, so you got to deal with that and get southpaw sparring if you're Xander Zayas. You got to deal with him being orthodox. You got to deal with power. You got to deal with speed. Boots can bang it out. Boots can box it out. Boots can do a lot of different things. He's got a deep bag in his fight game. Now, his fight game hasn't been challenged like we would like to see him challenged, but the challenges he has had, he's passed those tests with flying colors.
I heard that the way Boots is looking, there's no way Xander. That's what I heard. But I heard something like that before, and the dude lost. I forgot who it was. Oh, it was Mario Barrios. When you have somebody like Boots, I think you want to box him into hunting you down. I think Xander should move around if he has the energy, if he's not weight drained. He should move around and boxing and make it boring so Boots can tank. And then show your size, have more power than Boots expect, and be like, bam, that's the best approach.
Are we all being fooled? Is the entire boxing world walking blindfolded into a massive trap disguised as a guaranteed victory this June 27th? The industry has crowned Jaron "Boots" Ennis as an unstoppable force, but legendary trainer Teddy Atlas is seeing a completely different reality. He believes a total disaster is brewing for the heavy favorite.
You know what? It should be a lot of, I would think, support, I guess for both guys, but I would think maybe Zayas a little more with the Puerto Rican contingent that will be there in New York. I would think they come out to back their fighters and fighters from that, from that island. So I think maybe there might be a little bit more of, see a few Puerto Rican flags flying in that audience back in Zayas. But to your point, and your thinking there of why Vegas would have Ennis, almost a prohibitive favorite, such a big favorite. Obviously, it's his experience. They're both young. He's 28. Zayas is what? Only 23, I think. I mean, they're both young, but it feels like Ennis has been around longer. And he has. He's more experienced. But here's the thing. Take it right, take it wrong, but it's the thing. It's coming from me. It's coming from my judgment. And what can I tell you? I can't apologize for it. I can only say what my experience tells me that is correct to say. They're basing that on what Ennis is supposed to be.
23-year-old unified champion Xander Zayas isn't just stepping into the ring as another body to add to a highlight reel. According to Atlas, the young Puerto Rican star holds the exact blueprint required to completely derail Ennis's career and expose the pound-for-pound phenomenon in front of millions. Everyone bows down to that flawless 35-0 record, but a harsh reality hides in the actual names printed on that list.
That's what that line's about. Because he hasn't really been tested yet. I mean, I know he's undefeated and he's a terrific fighter. Does everything right. You look at him, you say, well, I'm looking at a really good fighter. I mean, it's like going in a car lot and you say, that car is, that's a great, look at it. It shines. Look at the polish on it. That's Ennis. But he hasn't been tested. That car hasn't really been out on the superhighway yet.
Zayas recently ripped the mask off this pristine image during a fiery interview, straight up accusing his opponent of hiding in Philly to safely pad his stats. It took Boots 35 long fights to finally unify, while Zayas conquered his division and snatched the belts in just 23.
One thing that people have said about him throughout the last few years, they've wanted him to take that leap and fight those big fights. Do you think he has avoided those big fights, or do you think the stars just haven't aligned for him?
Well, it took him 35 fights to become unified. Took me 23. If you see his first 23 fights, he was fighting guys that were trying to pay a child support. I was fighting guys trying to win, trying to dethrone me, trying to get me away from my goals and what I wanted to accomplish. So I don't know if stars wasn't aligning for him or if he was avoiding those guys. But at 23, I'm his biggest challenge. He's 28. At 23, what was he doing? Hiding in Philly? Not wanting to fight the big fights?
So the record is padded, you believe? 35?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe so. I mean, I can only count the last maybe 10 to 11 fights that I can tell you, okay, these guys are decent. Good, nice records, decent records, good experience. They could box.
Decent. What's his best win, in your opinion?
Well, Stanionis is one of his biggest fights.
That was 2 fights ago, right?
That was 2 fights ago. But also Stanionis was dealing with a lot. His wife was pregnant that week too. So it was a lot of things. Not putting any excuses. He put on a show. He did what he had to do. But it took him 34, 35, 30-something fights to make that happen. I mean, that should speak for itself.
This isn't just standard pre-fight trash talk meant to sell pay-per-views. It is a calculated exposure of a resume heavily built on incredibly favorable matchups. The younger champion sees right through the carefully manufactured hype, flat out refusing to buy into the media-driven aura of invincibility. Jumping up to 154 pounds sounds like a simple everyday adjustment until you are staring down a natural, fully grown monster of the division.
What did you think of him at 154 in that one fight?
But there was nothing to see. I mean, the guy,
Short.
Yeah, the guy looped in, trying to reach for something, and he caught him. He caught him good. It was a clean shot. It was a strong shot, and he did the job. He did what he needed to do.
Were you expecting that?
In a way, yes. In a way, I was expecting him to get him out of there. Maybe not that early. Maybe I thought he was going to take his time. Maybe get his feet wet at the weight class. But he saw the opportunity and he took advantage of it.
Before you got into the mix here, when it was looking like it was going to be Ortiz versus Boots, who did you think was going to win that?
I think Boots. I think Boots is going to beat Ortiz. I think he has more tools than Ortiz does, and I think that was going to be the edge.
It seems like his issues, Ortiz's issues with Golden Boy are starting to get fixed. That's what it seems like. I heard Oscar talking about this. Is he is he at stake here? Meaning,
well,
I know you don't want to look past Boots.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. The only thing I know is that my biggest fight is Saturday, and I gotta be mentally ready for that.
Atlas is waving a massive red flag about this highly dangerous weight class jump. The devastating, jaw-shattering power Boots consistently showcased at welterweight might just bounce right off a significantly bigger, wider frame. Zayas isn't some blown-up fighter struggling to carry the extra weight. He's a true junior middleweight who fully intends to physically bully the challenger. Weight classes exist for a very specific reason. Stepping into the squared circle with a man who naturally carries more muscle mass, reach, and physical leverage is a highly dangerous game, and Atlas strongly warns that Boots might not be physically equipped to play it.
Find out. It's going to be interesting. Can Young beat experience? Is he being Zayas, too young? The maturity, the seasoning isn't there for a guy as mature, as physically mature as Ennis. But remember, Ennis is also the guy moving up. Zayas has that edge. Yeah, he's younger, but he's naturally the bigger guy. Ennis is moving up. Here's how it breaks down to me. First of all, I'll get right to it. I think Zayas is a live dog. You're going to give me that much with an undefeated kid with a good amateur pedigree, with the heritage of the Puerto Rican blood and everything that represents in our sport of boxing, with all the champions that island has produced, and that just the connection of that heritage. I'm going to say, wow, you're going to really offer me that? I got to think about it. Yeah, I got to think about it. With a guy that, as good as he looks, and as good as we have been saying he's going to be, hasn't had to really, really display it yet. Maybe he will. Or maybe this 23-year-old kid will shine.
Teddy didn't just predict a stunning upset, he practically leaked the exact tactical map required to dismantle the favorite piece by piece. The legendary analyst laid out a flawless strategy to completely take the air out of the tires early in the fight. Zayas will rely heavily on his elite Puerto Rican boxing pedigree to dictate the distance, effectively neutralizing the famous switch-hitting rhythm that Boots relies on to secure his vicious knockouts. By establishing a punishing piston-like jab and constantly circling away from the power hand, Zayas can severely frustrate Ennis, forcing him to make desperate and reckless mistakes. It is a high-stakes chess match, and Atlas sees the young underdog holding all the right pieces to turn a chaotic brawl into a highly technical, embarrassing clinic.
Ennis is a sharpshooter. He's physical. He's the puncher here, not Zayas, not the bigger guy. Ennis is the puncher. And he's a sharpshooter. He's an accurate puncher. He's a guy that'll go to the body, go to the head. He'll fight inside, outside. He'll box if he has to, set traps if he has to, walk forward, engage if he has to, or if he wants to. But he is an accurate sharpshooting puncher that doesn't waste much and places shots to the right spots. On the other hand, the 23-year-old Zayas is a guy with good hand speed, but legs. It's going to be the legs of Zayas and the jab. Both guys are going to need their jabs for different reasons. Zayas to control the outside. I think he's going to want to live on the outside, pick his spots, go in and out, get angles. Try to keep this sharpshooter I just described. There's this guy who's a good puncher, who's an accurate puncher. Keep him off balance. Keep him off stride. So that would be my plan. So I'm going to guess it's going to be somewhere in that area, that neighborhood of being their plan. Zayas' legs and his jab, control the outside, control range. Well, you need the jab if you're going to be the guy who the burden's going to be to kind of make the fight, press the fight. You're going to need the jab to do that so the guy don't pot shot you, so he doesn't control the outside, so he don't dominate you with that stick, as Ali would say back in the day. He's going to have to go to the body. He being Ennis, he's going to have to go to the body, take the air out of the wheels. Because I'll say it again, the key components are the jab, and for Zayas, for both guys, but for Zayas, the legs. His legs are going to have to take him to victory if there's going to be a victory, where he gets the angles, he controls in and out, the whole thing I just said.
Brushing off your opponent as a minor inconvenience might look incredibly cool on camera, but that exact arrogance could be a fatal flaw. Boots has publicly stated this fight is already won in his mind, completely dismissing Zayas' world-class fundamentals as nothing special and claiming he has seen it all before. However, this supreme overconfidence is exactly what the underdog's camp is quietly counting on.
Yeah, our squad just, we real tight. We really family oriented, and it just having a team and a squad like that, it's unstoppable. And I love having, my team, my guys around me, and we push each other each and every day. And it's a blessing to have our team.
Yeah, man. Hey, man. Just last one. Xander, were you surprised that Xander took the fight, being that he's unified and you're kind of this, guy that people tend to kind of try to avoid, a little bit? Were you surprised?
I mean, no, I ain't surprised. That's good for him. But them belts come back home to Philadelphia, and you're gonna hear it in the new, on this Saturday.
Yeah, Jaron, appreciate your time, brother. Best of luck.
Appreciate it.
Ennis has never faced this terrifying level of championship pressure in a brand new weight class against a guy entirely unfazed by his intimidating reputation. The mental warfare is heavily tilting toward the younger fighter, who clearly thrives on being underestimated. If Boots walks into that arena expecting an easy sparring session, he is going to walk right into an absolute nightmare.
One thing you said that caught my eye was that you said that Boots is basically a weight bully, that all his time at 147, a lot of his success you seem to imply that was because he was bigger than a lot of these guys. Why do you believe that?
He was. I mean, look at Stanionis, look at all the guys that he faced at 47. He was way bigger, way more athletic than all these guys. And they go in there thinking or knowing, okay, like, once he hit me, I don't want to get hit no more, that's it, And you got a guy that is as big as you, is as athletic as you, and is as hungry as you. It's a whole different story.
You disagree?
Most definitely. The bigger they are, the harder they fall every time. And like I said, he gonna see on fight night for sure. And like I said, I tip my head off to him. But June 27th, belts come back home with me, guaranteed.
All right. I told you, that was the last time you were gonna touch him.
I'll touch him again.
All right. Last time you see them as close, it's gonna be this.
I'm gonna take them regardless, guaranteed.
Cool. That's perfect.
Straight like that.
I'm glad you think that way. That's the way you got to think.
I know.
That's the way you got to think.
It's not the way I know.
That's the way the last guy thought. That's the way the guy before that
thought.
those
guys. Stop comparing me to them guys. I'm not them. I don't fight nothing like them guys.
All right.
And like I said before, I would have fought them same two guys he just fought. The whole world would be bashing me.
Yeah.
For sure. That's how you know I'm at a different level. And I'm gonna show them there's really levels to this boxing game. Like I said, a solid fighter for sure. Getting better, but I'm gonna just be too much for him. All this is gonna be too much for him. It's too much. This pay-per-view.
What do you mean all
first
this?
tour, everything. All this stuff is gonna be too much for you.
I've done it before.
That's cool. It's different when you doing with somebody else that's bigger and better.
there? A quiet but terrifying question is spreading rapidly across the deepest corners of boxing forums and social media right now. What actually happens when Boots takes a clean, flush shot to the jaw from a legitimate 154-pounder? Hardcore fans are intensely debating this massive unknown. While his loyal supporters constantly point to endless knockout highlight reels, a very vocal minority is loudly echoing Atlas's core concern. They correctly point out that Ennis's chin remains completely untested against natural middleweight power. If Zayas perfectly times that one devastating shot, the invincible aura could shatter, instantly, violently turning a planned coronation into a total disaster.
So at the end of the day, it should be an interesting fight for two basic reasons. And I'll finish and I'll put a bow on it with that. Ennis, is he our guy? Believe it or not, he's been around a while already. This is coming out party. For me, is he our guy? This is gonna verify that. And for Zayas, is he the next guy? That's it. Bang. Boom. Boom. Da. Ooh. That's it.
When boxing royalty quietly starts agreeing with an insane prediction, you know a massive storm is genuinely brewing. Legends like Andre Ward and Roy Jones Jr. are actively looking past the lopsided betting odds and seeing the exact same glaring stylistic holes that Atlas pointed out on his podcast. They readily acknowledge that while Ennis is an incredibly gifted athlete, a highly polished sports car, Zayas' distinct size advantage and absolute mastery of fighting on the outside are the ultimate wild cards. These aren't just minor analytical details, they are the exact historical elements that consistently flip the script in massive super fights. The blueprint is sitting right there in plain sight, and the experts know Zayas absolutely has the physical and mental tools to execute it flawlessly.
I like Xander Zayas' boxing skills and boxing IQ, but I think Boots has a little bit more experience and has a little bit more of the intangibles, like the speed, the power. I think most of the other things lean toward Boots. Can he take Xander's punch? Because Xander's only been campaigning at junior middleweight. Boots' two world titles are at welterweight. So that's another thing that's going to factor in. I like both guys. I really do. And I think both guys are top-notch fighters. And why I'm so excited about this fight is not even just this fight, but the winner got to go face the towering Inferno. That's the part I want to see. So I want to see which one of these dudes prevail, which, like I said, it could be either because both of them are good. Both of them have the goods to be able to do anything. What's going to determine the outcome of this fight this time is who can implement their game plan first. Because whoever implements their game plan first is going to be in control most of the night. If the other guy makes adjustments, then the first guy got to also make those adjustments. But I think whoever starts out first with their game plan doing the right thing is going to win the fight. But like I said, I'm excited because I love when two top-notch guys fight. Like we want to see, I think, Virgil Ortiz versus Boots, but that didn't happen. We get even better. We get to see him fight for the two of the junior middleweight belts and the winner of the fight. We know now because the towering Inferno has a belt. We want to see the winner fight the Inferno. For Xander, if it's Puerto Rico versus Mexico, that's always a huge rival. So that's what we're looking at. And for Boots, for you to beat Xander first, then go beat the towering Inferno, you're going to be the king of the division without a question. So there's so much on the table here for both guys. I'm just happy that the fight is happening right now.
Jaron Ennis might be the flashiest, most explosive athlete in the sport today, but Teddy Atlas has clearly shown exactly why Xander Zayas is perfectly positioned to pull off the unthinkable this June 27th. Armed with a glaring size advantage, tactical genius, and a razor-sharp psychological edge, the underdog possesses a very real, highly dangerous path to victory. If Zayas actually executes this masterclass and bullies the so-called unstoppable favorite, it won't just put a permanent embarrassing stain on Boots' legacy. It will completely shock the system, forcing the entire boxing world to violently rewrite everything they thought they knew about the future of the sport. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the upcoming fight. Who do you have winning this one? Let me know in the comments. That's all from today's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so you never miss our upcoming videos. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section. Stay tuned, and we will catch you in the next video.